video on how to do one-handed double time. If you have not learned how to do drop spins, interrupts, or two-handed double time, then I would go ahead and look at those videos. The links are going to be down below on this YouTube channel. So go ahead and look at those videos first, acquaint yourself with those videos, and then after you've learned those things, go ahead and come back to this video. So, if you already know how to do those things, we're going to start at a right flat. The first thing that we're going to do before we even try two-handed double time, we are going to do 4 drop spins in the neck, and then we're going to flip it into the bolt. So it's going to look like this: 5, 6, 7, 8, and a 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1. So what I'm doing from here is I'm giving it a rotation and a half in order to get to the top spin. So let's try that again. 5, 6, 7, push, 1, 2, 3, 4, and a 1. And I'm grabbing right in the bolt. There's a nice little groove in the bolt area where I like to put my fingers. It might vary a little bit here and there, depending on as you're continuing to do these top spins and flipping. So just be aware of that. But it's a good landmark to aim in this nice little groove area that your rifle already has designed. So let's do that. From here, we do those 4 spins. 1, 2, 3, 4, and a. And then from here, I'm going to do 4 top spins. 1, 2, 3, 4. So I'm doing 4 bottom spins, and then I'm doing 4 top spins. Now, you're going to need to think about, I'd say this first bolt, the bolt that's closest to the swivel, that's going to be kind of your balance point. So what I would do is, before we even try the 4 spins into the 4 spins, just doing a couple top spins to see how your rifle is balanced and to see where that hand placement is going to be, so you can really think about it and feel that. So we have the 4 spins, 4 bottom spins into the 4 top spins, and the next part of the exercise is we're then going to do that flip and a half back into a right drop spin. Now, when you do this, you're going to want to lift up your rifle. It's going to be super important that you keep your forearm flat and you just turn your wrist over, because you don't want there to be a serious level change as you're doing this, because if you do, you're 9 times out of 10, you're going to over rotate, and you're not going to be able to continue your consecutive spins. So let's do 4 bottoms, 4 tops, and a bottom. 5, 6, 7, push, and a 1, 2, 3, 4, and a top, 2, 3, 4, and a 1. So for top spins, they can be a little tricky. As you saw there, I was kind of looking at it, but once you get more comfortable, you can just look forward, and that's really going to help work on your posture. So just make sure, if you are looking, that you're keeping your posture as normal as possible. You really want to make sure that your shoulders are level and you're not dropping that right shoulder as you're going into those different changes of being on the bottom or being on the top. So once you get that, the next thing is going to be doing 4 sets. So you would do 4, 1 set would be 4 bottoms, 4 tops. That would be 1 set. When you flip your rifle and go back into your regular drop spins, that would be the start of the next set. So I would go ahead and do that a couple times and really get the feel for that. That way you understand the mechanics of that flip. Now, once that happens, I would go ahead and shorten those spins down to every 2 spins. So I would do 2 drop spins, 1, 2, 2 top spins, 2 drop spins, 2 top spins, 2 drop spins. And so I would go through that doing 2 drop spins, 2 top spins, 2 drop spins, 2 drop spins. And so those 2 and 2 would be 1 set. So it's a total of 4 spins, 2 on the bottom, 2 on the top, and then it would start back over. So I would do that and make sure that I'm really understanding that flip and a half, and working on my posture and everything like that. Once you have that, what I like to do is I like to revisit my two-handed double time. And then from there, what you can do after you revisit that two-handed double time is just take your hand away. So you can do like, let's see, like 4 spins, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 2, 3, 4 and a 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. So you can go ahead and once you get those tops and bottoms really well with the one hand, go ahead and kind of dabble in between of doing like 4 counts of two-handed double time and then 4 counts of one-handed double time, and do a couple sets of that. That way you feel pretty good about yourself. And then once you have that, you can just go right into that one-handed double time. Now, when you do this one-handed double time, you know, obviously your instructor is going to tell you exactly the way that you want it, or the way that they want it, but you can go ahead and if you saw my previous video on how to do two-handed double time, you can either stop using just a regular stop, going to a left flat. So if you do that, it would go bottom, top, bottom, flat. That one is going to be a little bit tricky because what you're doing is you're not giving it a full rotation, you're slowing down your rifle. So as you're going into this here, you're gonna have to really squeeze your rifle in order to stop it. So that one's gonna be a little bit tricky. The next thing that you could do is you can do an interrupt stop, which just means that after you do some bottom tops, bottom, top, bottom, and stop. So that one, it didn't look too great, but we get the idea that after you do some bottom tops, once you return back to that right spin, you can then insert your left hand and go into an interrupt catch. So let's try that again. 5, 6, 7, 8, and a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So that was much better. So make sure that as you're doing that, if you do have like a bobble, make sure that you're breaking it down and you're taking it multiple times, really thinking about building up that muscle memory until you get a rep that is like really good and you feel good about it. If you can do that a couple times, then you can move on to something else. So that's the second way. And then the third way is just to do like a full single into a left flat. So you're already kind of doing like a flip and a half as you're going into this. So it's just gonna be like, as you're going into this, it's gonna be just a little bit more. Just a little bit. Not a lot of it, just a little bit. Because you're already doing a flip and a half. You just need a half more in order to get that full single stop. So you'll do whatever amount of spins that your instructor wants you to do, and then you'll go onto that bottom spin, going into that last spin, and then from there you're going to flip your rifle over, doing a single, going into the left flat. So those are 3 different ways that you can stop doing this one-handed double time. Make sure that if you have any questions, either go back or really think about breaking things down. What I did when I started learning double time is I started doing those like reps of 4 bottoms, 4 tops. If I can do 5 of those for like, if I can do 5 consecutive like reps of those with 4 sets in each rep, then I know that I can then shorten it a little bit, doing the reps with the 2 bottoms, 2 tops, do that 5 times, feel really good about myself, and then work my way going into the 2-handed, 1-handed combo, and then from there just going straight into the 1-handed double time. So make sure that you're really thinking about different ways that you learn and that are going to help you achieve this exercise. Sometimes doing it with 2 hands is going to help you better than just going straight into trying something one-handed, because it's really going to reinforce that technique, and it's going to help like give yourself a set of checks and balances as you're learning this exercise, so that ultimately you're not doing something to mess up that really good technique foundation that you're learning. I hope my comments have been helpful. If you have any questions or need any advice or any tips or any tricks, go ahead and comment below in the video. If you're one of my students, you can always go ahead and message me on Remind, or you can send me an email. I hope this helps, and good luck doing your one-handed double time.